GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. Traffic is spiking on the highways around the city, adding nearly 2 million vehicles in the last 2 decades, and the Alouettes just edged out the Stampeders in a 38-32 thriller. Plus, the city announced 1,650 new affordable housing units. Over to you, Ryan.
The Canadiens have traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks, receiving future considerations in return.
Brendan Gallagher now joins the Vancouver Canucks as the Canadiens complete the deal, with future considerations heading back to Montreal.
Montreal's roster changes after sending forward Brendan Gallagher to Vancouver, the trade involving undisclosed future considerations for the Habs.
All right, let's get into it and start our headlines for today's local and national news. Good morning, Montreal. Earlier today, Sûreté du Québec announced the dismantling of a covert operation that manufactured counterfeit identification and travel papers in the city. Officers entered a nondescript warehouse on the east side of the island, seized printing equipment, blank forms and forged documents, and took one suspect into custody. Police said the raid was the culmination of a months-long investigation aimed at disrupting a network that supplied fake passports, driver's licenses, and other official papers to criminal groups. Authorities emphasized that the seizure will halt production of the forged documents and protect public safety. The suspect, whose identity has not been released, faces charges of fraud, possession of illegal printing equipment, and organized crime involvement. The operation marks a significant step in the province's broader effort to combat document fraud and will aid ongoing investigations.
The province is in the midst of its most severe spruce budworm outbreak in half a century, with damage spreading across an estimated 17.6 million hectares of forest. Officials say the infestation, driven by a surge in budworm populations, is still active and threatens large swaths of hardwood and softwood stands. The current wave surpasses previous events recorded over the past 50 years, prompting emergency measures from forest management agencies. Researchers warn that the insects can defoliate trees within weeks, accelerating mortality and reducing timber yields. Provincial authorities are deploying aerial pesticide applications and increasing monitoring to curb the spread, while communities in affected regions report visible tree loss and reduced canopy cover. The situation remains fluid as foresters assess long-term ecological impacts and coordinate response efforts across the province.
Forest fire activity across Quebec is on the decline, the Provincial Fire Protection Agency, SOPFEU, reported this month. While Canada has been battling widespread wildfires since early July, Quebec's fire officials say the number of active blazes has dropped sharply in recent weeks. SOPFEU noted that cooler temperatures and higher humidity have helped contain several hotspots, and fire crews are focusing on monitoring remaining hotspots in remote northern regions. The agency emphasized that resources remain on standby, but the overall outlook is more positive than earlier in the month. Residents in affected areas are being advised to keep fire bans in place until authorities lift them, and to report any new smoke sightings promptly. Officials said the trend reflects coordinated suppression efforts and natural weather patterns working together to bring the situation under control.
Students continue to block the main entrance of a downtown college in Montreal, demanding the Quebec government reverse its decision to suspend the school's operating permit. The province moved to halt the permit earlier this month, forcing an abrupt shutdown that left thousands of learners, many only weeks from graduation, without a path to complete their programs. International enrollments are particularly at risk, as the closure threatens the immigration status tied to their studies. Protesters have set up tents on the campus quad, organized sit-ins and chanted slogans while police maintain a perimeter. Officials from the Ministry of Education said the suspension follows a compliance audit, but have not provided a timeline for reinstating the permit. The college administration urged students to remain calm as negotiations continue, though no resolution appears imminent.
Construction crews will soon break ground on 8 new developments that together will deliver 1,650 affordable homes across the island. The initiative brings together the provincial government, the city, and the federal administration in a coordinated push to expand the rental market. Officials say the projects will launch over the coming 12 months, targeting neighborhoods where demand has outpaced supply. Funding will be split between Quebec, Montreal, and Canada, with each level committing resources to keep rents within reach for families and essential workers. The plan follows months of consultations on how to tackle the city's housing crunch, and it marks the most ambitious joint effort to date. Residents can expect the first units to appear by early next year, offering new options for those struggling to find affordable space. Later, we'll hear how the animal shelter's intake has doubled to roughly 25 pets a day after the moving season. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you're still with us. Let's dive into today's local stories with Ryan Mercer, who has the latest updates.
Pronoma Animal Shelter is grappling with a sudden surge in abandoned pets as the city's moving season peaks. Staff report that intake has roughly doubled, with about 25 animals arriving each day, compared with the quieter early summer months. The influx includes dogs, cats, and small mammals left behind by families relocating to new homes. Shelter officials say the rapid rise strains space, food supplies, and volunteer capacity, forcing them to turn away non-emergency admissions while they prioritize urgent medical care. Residents are being asked to consider rehoming plans before a move, as the shelter's resources are stretched thin. The refuge, which opened earlier this year, relies on community donations and volunteer labor, and the current load is especially challenging for its limited kennels. The situation remains ongoing, and Pronoma continues to coordinate with local veterinarians and foster networks to manage the growing demand.
An unexpected shutdown on the Reso Express Metropolitan left commuters stranded on the line between Panama and Central stations on Sunday afternoon. The disruption began at 4:58 p.m. and persisted for more than 3 hours before service resumed. Operators have not identified the cause and have launched an investigation. Riders reported being confined on stationary trains as the tracks remained idle, prompting delays across the network. The line, which connects the southwestern borough with downtown, typically carries thousands of riders each hour. During the halt, station staff provided updates via announcements, though no substitute buses were deployed on site. The incident underscores the reliance of daily travelers on the REM's rapid transit system, with many passengers forced to seek alternative routes during the outage. Officials assured that safety checks were conducted before trains were cleared to move again, and that they are reviewing protocols to prevent similar events.
On Friday, Westmount's mayor announced he will contest an ethics complaint that alleges he used disrespectful language toward municipal executives and staff. The accusations were lodged with the Quebec Municipal Commission, which is set to hear the case in the coming weeks. Mayor Michael Stern told the press he intends to refute the remarks, calling the complaint unfounded and emphasizing his commitment to a respectful workplace. The commission's review will determine whether the mayor's conduct breaches the province's municipal ethics code, a process that could affect the town's internal dynamics and public confidence in local governance. Residents and municipal employees alike will be watching the proceedings, as the outcome may shape how officials communicate with one another moving forward.
Scientists at the Université de Sherbrooke announced a breakthrough in brain cancer therapy after a preclinical trial showed the treatment eliminated tumors in a group of laboratory rats. The team reported that all animals receiving the drug showed remission, with no detectable cancer cells after treatment. Researchers say the success moves the approach one step closer to human trials, a stage that typically follows extensive animal testing to confirm safety and effectiveness. While the cure is still years away for patients, the finding offers hope for future therapies that could one day reduce the long, costly journeys families endure during cancer treatment. Health officials noted the study reinforces the importance of supporting biomedical research across the province. Local biotech firms hope the discovery will bring investment and new jobs to the region's life science sector. The university will work with hospitals on the next testing phase, aiming to keep the research in province.
The NHL announced that a fresh collective bargaining agreement will come into force this September, reshaping the framework for player contract talks. The new deal replaces the current pact that has guided league operations, labor relations, and salary structures for years. For fans in the city, the shift means the Canadiens' front office will negotiate under different rules, potentially influencing roster moves and contract lengths that appear on the ice next season. Analysts say the revised guidelines could also affect salary caps and revenue sharing, which may ripple into ticket pricing and broadcast options for local supporters. The league stressed that the agreement aims to modernize negotiations while preserving competitive balance. As the September rollout approaches, teams are already reviewing the clauses to align their strategies with the updated contract landscape.
Let's take a quick look at your morning forecast with our weather team.
A low-pressure trough, dragging a southwest, sets the stage for late-day showers across the Montreal region. On this date, the all-time high for Montreal stands at 31.1 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2018 during a lingering heat wave that pushed daily maxima well above the norm. The all-time low is 13.7 degrees Celsius, set in 2025 when an Arctic blast slipped southward, dumping temperatures into the mid-teens. By contrast, today's climatological average maximum hovers around 27 degrees, and the average minimum near 19, underscoring how today sits comfortably between the historic extremes. The live radar shows a band of echoes gathering over the southern suburbs, marching northeast at a steady pace. The moisture core is slated to arrive over downtown Montreal around 6 p.m., intensifying through the evening before tapering off by 9 p.m. The system is steered by the southwest jet aloft, which keeps the rain confined to a narrow corridor. With no other signatures on the screen, the rest of the province remains dry. At 7, Montreal sits under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 20 degrees and a humid feel at 69%. A low-pressure center is falling, pulling warm, moist air northward, while the southwest jet at 5,723 meters drives the system eastward. Winds are 10 kilometers per hour from the southeast, but gusts push up to 43 kilometers per hour, and later the strongest gusts will reach 37 kilometers per hour from the south. The UV index sits at 4. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching 26 degrees by noon and peaking at 28 around 3 p.m. Clouds will thicken, keeping the sky overcast through the afternoon. By early evening, the radar-tracked band will brush the city near 6 p.m., then clear as the low pressure slides east. No weather alerts are in effect. The 5-day outlook stays dry with clear skies dominating the mid-week stretch. Wednesday will be cool, high 21 and low 14, a clear break from today's warmth. Thursday warms to 24 with a low of 14, still under bright, cloudless conditions. Friday nudges up to 25 and a low of 16, keeping sunshine prevalent. Saturday sees a jump to 29 for the high and 18 for the low, offering the first chance of a warm weekend but remaining cloud-free. Sunday caps the period with a high of 30 and a low of 19, though clouds will drift in, giving an overcast finish. No alerts are expected, and the persistent low pressure will continue to drift east, leaving the region under stable, fair weather. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunrise is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll bring you updates on bridge lane reductions, tonight's floating outdoor movie nights, and St. Hubert's restaurant closing after 50 years. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Honoré Mercier Bridge is down to a single lane each way, causing moderate delays across the crossing. Expect backups of up to 15 minutes during the morning rush, especially near the Highway 24 on ramps. Drivers heading to the South Shore should consider alternate routes such as the Champlain Bridge or the Pierre-Le-Guerin Bridge. In the east, Camillien-Houde Way in Ville-Marie is closed for repaving. Traffic is being rerouted onto St. Laurent Boulevard and Rue de la Commune. The detour adds a few extra minutes but keeps the flow moving. On the transit side, the REM is running a modified schedule today. Shuttle buses are replacing service between the Central Station and the Barrie-UQAM stop while work continues on the line. Trains resume on the main line after the midday break. Overall, most other arteries, including Boulevard St. Laurent and the Descaries Expressway, are moving freely. Expect the afternoon to clear up as construction crews finish their morning shifts.
Tonight the city lights up at Parc Jean Drapeau for a floating outdoor movie night, a tribute to the 1976 Olympics that lets families enjoy a classic film from the water's edge. If you're planning the weekend, mark your calendar for Festival Haiti on Fire, a 5-day celebration of Haitian culture at Parc La Fontaine with live music, art, and street food starting Thursday. Dance fans should keep an eye on Red Bull Dance Your Style at Village au Pied du Courant on the 25th, where Canada's top movers battle for the national title. And the headline of the month, Ashiga returns at the end of July on Parc Jean Drapeau, promising a 3-day lineup of top acts and art installations. Guided tour of Olympic Park run daily, and the Clin Dole Aux Jew Walk invites you to explore the games, legacy right where they happened. That's what's on today and in the days ahead. And now here's Tyler with sports.
Big news for Habs fans as the new season takes shape. Mark your calendars, the Canadiens open the 2026 to 2027 NHL season on the road against the Toronto Maple Leafs on September 29th. It's part of an all-Canadian opening night doubleheader, according to CBC Sports NHL, a rivalry matchup to kick things off right. A chapter has closed in Montreal. The Canadiens have dealt forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. CBC Sports NHL confirmed the move, which was reported in late June. Gallagher spent over a decade with the organization before this off-season departure. A chapter has closed in Montreal. The Canadiens have traded forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. CBC Sports reported the deal, marking the end of Gallagher's run with the organization where he spent the bulk of his NHL career.
St. Hubert in the Village, a fixture on St. Claude Street for 50 years, is preparing to close its doors this September. The beloved rotisserie chicken spot has fed generations of locals, from late-night study sessions to family Sunday meals. Municipal road work forces the location to shut, and nearly 60 jobs will be impacted, though the company says employees can transfer to other St. Hubert sites. The loss feels personal for many Montrealers. The clatter of the rotisserie has been a comforting soundtrack to our neighborhood gatherings. As the village says goodbye, the community remembers the meals, the memories, and the simple joy of sharing a hot chicken dinner together in the heart of our city. And stay tuned for a heartwarming look at St. Hubert's beloved village restaurant as it bids farewell after 50 wonderful years.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On a crisp morning in the Plateau, the scent of fresh coffee drifted from a corner bakery as I walked toward the metro station, the city waking in gold. Inside the bustling newsroom, Quebec's Minister of Energy, Isabelle Fréchette, prepared for a trip that feels more like a shared promise than a political agenda. She will join Newfoundland and Labrador Premier Tony Wakeham on the rolling dunes of Prince Edward Island, where Atlantic wind whispers through red cliffs, to discuss a refreshed agreement for the historic Churchill Falls project. What makes this meeting special is not just the numbers on a contract, but the picture it paints for families on both sides of the border. Cleaner power flowing through homes, new jobs for young engineers, and a partnership that honors the land and its people. In a moment before departure, Fréchette paused to watch a sunrise over the St. Lawrence, recalling how the same light now brushes the PEI horizon, reminding her that collaboration can turn a long-standing challenge into a shared sunrise. It's a hopeful reminder that when provinces work together, the future feels brighter for all of us.
In the heart of the Plateau, a Saturday morning bustle finds families gathering at a small community park beside the bustling boulevard, where a bright red SUV rolls up to a picnic table covered with fresh baguettes and maple-glazed pastries. A young couple, Maya and Julian, step out, laughing as they help their daughter climb into the back seat, her giggles echoing off the nearby brick facades. Across the street, an elderly neighbor waves from his classic sedan, admiring the sleek, larger vehicle that now dominates the street. Over the past 10 years, Quebec's average vehicle has grown by roughly 140 kilograms, a shift driven by families seeking more space, safety, and the quiet power of newer electric models. The added weight isn't just metal, It's the promise of stronger frames, advanced safety systems, and the quiet confidence of battery-powered rides that protect both passengers and the environment. As the sun climbs over Mount Royal, the scene captures a community moving forward together, choosing cars that carry not only their belongings, but their hopes for safer, greener journeys. It's a simple reminder that progress often arrives on four wheels, steady and reassuring.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local Sunrise. Tonight's highlight was the launch of 8 new affordable housing projects that will bring 1,650 homes to our neighborhoods. We appreciate your trust and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow morning. See you then.